Yeah, let's get it. Straight up.
Been on the move, that's just a steady motion. Deep in the game, I'm drowning in the hustle. Turn the static down, I'm on my own frequency. Got that new money energy, living legendary. Turn the static down, I'm on my own frequency. Got that new money energy, living legendary. Yeah, living legendary.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm back. This is Leon with Real Estate Lunchbox. I'm trying to decide. I look sleepy because I've been working, bro. I tell you, doing a lot. So I don't want you to suffer through looking at my lenses. Looking at my eyes while, oh, God. Anyway, like, subscribe, follow for more content. This is the Real Estate Lunchbox. I am your host, Leon Duncan. I am a 20-year real estate investor, agent, broker. I'm in the real estate space. Real Estate Lunchbox is where real estate meets the culture. So we just don't talk about real estate, but we also talk about the culture in relation to real estate. And then I throw some things in there. And then you tell me you don't like it. Then y'all leave me these messages. Then you're like, hey, Leon, stick to the topic. So I'm going to stick to the topic the best that I can. Woo! Boy, I tell you. Ooh. Man. Let me jump up in here. And we are streaming, just checking out my other channels. Want to give a shout out to everyone on Facebook. I appreciate you guys I'm humbled by you joining me, especially the ones that don't like me. I call them booty scratchers. But I try to be cool, though. This is where I take the time. This is just a lunchtime hangout. We're just going to talk about these topics, and I like to pull topics that are relevant to what's going on right now, because I want this not just to be an informative deal, not just when I react, but as we go further, I'm going to show you some of the things that we're doing on the back end that I believe that every person should implement. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, if you're in real estate, if you're an investor, if you're an agent, if you're just somebody, doggone, oh no, who just wants to improve whatever they're doing, yeah, I want to share with you what I'm doing. I don't want to gatekeep it or keep it, and I know there are a ton of content creators out here who do that, but I don't want to do that. That's not the goal. So like, subscribe, follow for more content. It will get better. It will get better. Yeah. Let's go. So we got a couple topics, man, I'm going to be talking about today, and we're going to talk about, we'll cover D.R. Horton and this lawsuit against it. AI schools that are on the rise. Bernie Sanders has a conversation with AI. Damn. And this family was offered $24 million for $26 million, I think it is. And you'll see it, $26 million for their farmland. So, I always debate how I like to start this stuff off. I'm going to react to some of this stuff with data centers, because this is big here with the data centers. And then we'll just start digging down deeper into it from there. Let me start with some of these AI schools, because over the last year, a lot of people don't recognize there's been a rise in what we call AI schools. These are actual elementary schools, middle schools that teach kids how to use AI and how to use AI to actually learn. Now, this is a big thing, and a lot of people don't know anything about it. It's like, hey, Leon, yeah, AI is cool. But what I've discovered is that some of these schools have gone so far as charging anywhere between $35,000 to about $40,000 to learn AI in their schools. That's the big thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to adjust the air in here because bro is hot. Bro is really hot up in the house. It's really hot, bro. But the biggest thing we see with AI is that AI, it's changing the way that kids learn. It's changing the way that adults learn. It's changing, I believe, it's going to change not just that, but it's also going to change the way that we, that colleges teach. Yeah, college professors, the way they teach, the way they educate, I believe that AI is going to change that. Now, I'm just before I even begin this hangout, man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm 50-50 with this. I love AI. I love what I can create and make, and I've made some extraordinary things. One of the things that AI allowed me to do was to create my 60-day to monetize training course. The link is in the description. How we took this channel in 60 days to monetize. We could have did it in 30, but we did it in 60. 60 not bad. Some people want overnight. Some people promise 24 hours. I can't promise that. But 60 days to monetize the channel, gaining 1,000 subscribers, over 4,000 views in that first 60-day period. We blew it out the water, and I just mapped it out and showed you how you can do it. And what's worse, I showed you how you can do it with AI, right? And I'm about to talk about AI. But yeah, you can choose to do it with or without AI. That's an implemented tool that just allows you to do it faster and to do it better and more proficient. So, yeah, go ahead and grab that. AI allowed me to put that course together, allowed me to make a PDF, allowed me to put some of other courses that I haven't even loaded up together, wholesaling, things like that. And we use AI in the wholesaling business. And on the wholesaling side with AI, we're talking about finding deals at record pace, because now we're programming AI to go out and to find the deals, like to draw it in, okay? Now, this real quick, I had to really put this in because, bro, this blew my mind when I actually saw it. I did. And I downloaded the this is Claude. I went from Claude's chat box to co-work with Claude. And if you don't know what co-work with Claude is, it is an update that Claude just did. And if you don't know what Claude is, think of open AI like ChatGPT with just a deeper, I would say, analyzing ability. It can research ability, going deeper in research. I kind of started seeing how valuable it was to be with Claude in opposed to OpenAI, ChatGPT. Sorry, OpenAI, ChatGPT. Oh no! Y'all got the $122 billion investment, but I jumped off, and I think they got 285% decline in one day. When that co-work came out, I had to jump on co-work. Co-work is probably, I think, the future of augmented of AI. Is just the future. So this is literally me working on Claude. I'm on my deck, and that's Claude moving right there, taking control of my computer. It's not me. I'm not touching it. This is 100% Claude AI. Claude's co-work space.
So I'm not touching this at all. This is 100% Claude's desktop co-work. It literally took control of my computer because I gave it permission to, and it's building an off-market property list right now based on how I've been training the AI agent to do. And it's literally going through here and pulling out the pictures for that list. And it's gonna build it, and I'll have it in my email as a draft.
So it built it, and I've been working on this AI bot, this bot, to actually do the building and then turn around and leave it as a draft in my email. So I can copy and paste it and send it to some of you guys who want to subscribe to my off-market Georgia property list. That's one of the lists that actually hits with Claude, not just pulling and scraping what's on the net, but of course we have investors, wholesalers that send us stuff and they're ready to get rid of it. Claude will go in there and look through my Gmail, find those emails that sent me, create a list so I'm able to look through it and see it, and then email that same list out to you. If you are not part of that Georgia off-market property list, it is a free list. Go join it. I scrub it so that you can find some of the best deals in Georgia. Link is in the description. So, as I started working with Claude and doing this, it took me to looking at how AI is evolving and changing real estate in itself. And a lot of people who aren't in real estate don't see it. And some of the people that are in real estate, they still don't see it, okay? Still don't see it. I think they're waiting for this change to happen, and this change is not going to happen. A change meaning going back to what it was before. And I can tell you right now, it's not going back. We're in a space right now. I think it's equivalent to the way, I keep saying it, the internet came. I remember when the first internet came. My dad opened up and said, "Hey man, this is the internet." I'm like, wow, what is that? So kids are learning what AI is way before adults are starting to grasp it, and they're getting it at a younger age, and it's going to change the way society is in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, welcome back. A new American school is revolutionizing education using AI. Alpha schools are at the forefront of a growing movement, providing students with a more personalized education experience using AI, this advanced technology. The school replaces a traditional classroom using AI tutors and adaptive learning platforms to identify students' strengths and where the gaps lie in the curriculum. So far, the results have been outstanding. Students scoring in the top 1% to 2% nationally in math, reading, science, and language. Joining me right now is the co-founder and the CEO of Alpha Schools, Mackenzie Price. Mackenzie, great to have you.
Maria, thanks for having me. There's nothing I like talking about more than education because it is the most important resource we have at our disposal to help young people be successful in this new world.
Absolutely. And I was talking to someone yesterday about the fact that it's been education and healthcare that have been impervious to any changes in technology for a long time. But
now let me slow this down. It's $40,000 to go to Alpha School. They've already, and Alpha School's been out for the last year, man. So when I was researching it, it's been out for the last year. But this, it goes deeper. $40K to put your kids. Now we're gonna see. I keep telling people we're gonna see not just the rise of the have and have-nots, but if you're spending $40K to put your elementary school, middle school, high school students through an AI learning curriculum, because of the way it's set up, it's going to outpace, hands down, kids that learn traditionally.
suddenly, AI is actually moving the needle. Tell us about Alpha Schools. What's most important for us to understand?
Well, our traditional education system was built out of the Industrial Revolution to create workers. And now in this new AI world, it is so important that we create individuals who are dynamic, adaptable, and most importantly, have the skill of learning how to learn. So at Alpha, we're using artificial intelligence to raise human intelligence. Our students are able to get the level and pace of academic knowledge that they need meets them exactly where they're at. As a result, we see student growth exponentially go up no matter where a student comes to us. And we're doing all of this in only 2 hours during the school day instead of a traditional 6-hour academic school day. And then, of course, that begs the question, what do you do with the rest of the day? And our answer is that we teach life skills, leadership, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, public speaking, relationship building. Those are the skills that are going to help kids be successful. We also are teaching them how to use tools like AI that they're going to need to be rapidly successful at learning.
And now, why is that important? I mean, I was listening to TikTok and this kid was complaining about, he said, and he was legit right. I feel that same thing. I felt it in public school. You tell me if you felt it in public school. I know my son's feeling it in public school. And he's been in private and now back into public. He was in public, then went to private and went back into public, trying to get the feel for the best environment for him to learn in. And dude, honestly, it's like they spend like 6 to 8 hours in school, depending on if it's sports and other things and study hall and all those other extra things. He's a high schooler. And learning things that they can get in 2 hours. You can literally learn what they're teaching in 2 hours if you're focused. And if anything, I think these kids don't even have, I don't say they don't have, but who wants to take 4 hours, 6 hours to learn something as an adult that you can learn in 2 hours? So we're teaching them inefficiencies just as kids. And she stacked on top of that the way that our public school system was created, our school system, the school system that you pay money to, whether you're renting or whether you're buying, whether you own a home, because money goes from there to the local school in your municipality. It is taxed. Your kids spend 6 to 8 hours to sit down there and learn something and learn in 2 hours. And what's worse than that, most of them aren't learning anything because in that public school system, based in how it came about, it came to create workers. Now we are changing the type of worker that's being created coming out of school. I don't know, after 100 years, you have places like Yale, Harvard, Princeton, if they will even be a factor in the next 15 to 20 years, because AI and how you need to really know how to think with AI. Really need. I learned and had to relearn how to program an AI agent properly, because it's evolved from just the prompts. I remember when people were just throwing out prompts. We were at real estate conferences. They were like, yeah, here's a prompt. You need a prompt. The prompt to tell is a prompt. Those prompts don't mean shit now. They don't mean anything. And what's more crazy is that they're charging people. This is not even part of the same public school system that our tax dollars fund from owning real estate. They're not charging. They're charging. This is a private school. Public school needs to catch up.
A school in Texas is using AI to teach the 3 R's. No more one-size-fits-all lessons. Janet Shamlian has tonight's Eye on America.
They're pioneering education's new frontier. Every click, every keystroke at Austin's Alpha School is guided by artificial intelligence.
So right now is considered, of course, skills time.
Students like 8-year-old Alina Boyce spend only 2 hours in the morning on science, math, and reading, working at their own speed using personalized AI-driven software.
And what they learn after this, I'm going to stop this real quick because I didn't even mention this in the last clip. The soft skills that are learned in some ways are more valuable or as valuable as the hard skills that you go to school to learn. See, people, we don't teach soft skills no more. So when you checking out in a checkout line and the person checking out is just rude, they don't greet you, you paying for the thing at the store they work for an employer, but they don't care. They just had a bad morning. Those soft skills are tied to emotional intelligence that I even tell real estate agents they need to master. They need to get in order, because nobody wants to work with you when you just are screwed up in an attitude, or your emotions take you to somewhere where you shouldn't be. These kids are learning financing, how to manage money, what money's like. They don't teach that in school. So the more that these AI schools become a big thing, I believe is going to put a gap between the kids that go there and they know AI, or the kids that learn AI independently, that are proficient in how to use the tool. It's going to separate them a lot. And so you think a lot of kids coming out of school now don't know how to read, don't know how to write, certain things that they don't know how to do that we learned how to do. It's going to get worse.
Right now, at my age level, I'm supposed to be 4th grade.
Okay.
But science, I'm on like 6th, 7th grade.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see if you can slingshot this.
Adults in the classroom are called guides, not teachers, and earn 6-figure salaries. Their job is to encourage and motivate.
I like that. 6 figures. Teachers should, especially if they're good teachers or good counselors and they're good with education and technology and they can communicate a thought, a topic clearly.
Can an algorithm replace the expertise of someone like yourself?
I don't think it's replacing. I think it's just working in tandem.
Afternoons are different. Students tackle projects teaching financial literacy and public speaking. Life skills, founder Mackenzie Price says, are invaluable.
What advantage does the learning that you're employing here have over traditional schools?
There is such a huge advantage when students can be met at the level and pace of learning that is right for them.
Price was not an educator before starting the school in 2014. There are now 16 campuses and big backers. The education secretary visited last month.
You're turning the learning over to a laptop. What about the importance of an educator in a child's life?
So our guides are not teaching academic content, but they are connecting. In fact, every week, every one of our students gets 30 minutes of one-on-one concentrated time with their guides. And during the workshops in the afternoons, they are connecting and interacting in a group experience.
Tell me what you think if you're watching this live or either replay. Tell me what you think. Because at the end of the day, I think a kid probably needs more than a 30-minute a week interaction with an adult. And I know the adults are in the room. I see the guides in the room guiding them, but I think more of a counseling session should be more like an hour, half an hour a day, honestly. I would say if you're getting six figures, I think you need to talk to my kid more than a half an hour a week. I think you need to talk half an hour at least a day, rehashing what you learned that day, going through how you interacted with the model, what's your likes and dislikes, things you will want to change. Kids are smart and they see these things, and they know.
That progress isn't cheap. Tuition at Austin's Alpha School starts at $40,000 a year.
How is this applicable to standard education?
We recognize that there is a huge mountain of challenges that come in a large public system. So what I hope that Alpha can be is an example, an inspiration, and help families understand that this model of education is something that can work.
So this model of education, I personally feel, is going to shape, like I said, the way that young people study. Because we got to look at this differently. We've been taught historically, memorize information and then regurgitate it in a test. That's basically it. So in high school, we used to have a little thing like this. Yeah, okay, you write like this. Put it under your shoe. Put it under your arm. I've seen people cheat on tests so many crazy ways in school. But imagine not having to cheat, because the AI will turn around from there and will teach you it at the pace that you need to know it at the level, the watered down concept that will trigger an understanding in a person's brain. Okay, that is the biggest thing, because information is learned through repetition. We learn through repetition. We don't learn just by getting information one time. Oh, I got it, I learned it. Nah, you learn it through repetition. This is an IBM breakdown. If you don't follow IBM, you really should be following IBM AI. It's a great channel just to follow, period, if you have questions on what AI does, what is it, just the details on it.
AI is changing everything, including the way we learn. I'm an adjunct professor, and the first time I saw what a chatbot leveraging generative AI could do, I knew immediately there was no point in assigning essays to my students to write, because I'd only be grading chatbot output, and I don't need the practice. Most educators took the position that AI should be prohibited from student use entirely on their assignments, because it would do all the work and the students wouldn't learn anything. Well, many have also tried to use AI to detect AI, but it's inevitable that chatbots will keep improving to the point where there's nothing left to detect. I'm thinking we need to do the exact opposite and figure out how to embrace this technology and use it to elevate education. I'm hoping others will start thinking this way too. Look, the train has already left the station. We can either get on board or get run over by it.
And he's not lying. Like my kids, I remember a private school, we had them in before we took it out because it wasn't a great private school. We were wasting money. And the reality of it is they were using an AI scanner to scan if the kid's assignment that they told them to write was actually created by AI. And I thought at that time, I'm like, cool, yeah, they're maintaining the integrity of the assignment or the learning curriculum. Say that 5 times. But at the same time, I kind of felt like, aren't you kind of stifling? Like, if you got to use AI to find out if the assignment was AI, why can't we now turn around and use AI and find out if they learned anything using AI about the assignment that was given? So this is clear. Learning is going to change if it hasn't changed already. I don't think people have caught up to how fast it's changed and what it's changing and evolving into. Most of us go to work, we come home and work, and I mean, the reality of it is, who has time to sit down and just listen to how to run and set up a AI agent on your computer and use it for extra tasks to make your life easier? Unfortunately, that's the society that we live in, and I recognize it. Not everybody has the luxury of sitting home and streaming. every day, Monday through Friday. But worse than that, have the luxury through everything that we go through, paying bills, dealing with kids, balancing all the other stuff in life to learn AI. But I said this to a client of mine last week, and I hope I didn't offend her, man. I really didn't intend to do it, offend her, and I don't think she was offended. But then in a way, I thought she was really a little impatient. We have to learn the language of whatever we're endeavoring to do, and to learn that language takes time, because it's just like going to China. You can't go and speak Mandarin. You can't go and speak English when everyone speaks Mandarin. That's the same concept when it comes to business. I had to listen to enough business podcasts to get my mind in that place, to understand the language, to understand what it meant, and then to actually physically put my hands in it. And when they said, you mean this is a expense sheet. Oh, this is profit loss statement. Oh, same thing with technology and with AI. You don't have to spend hours a day, but you have to touch it every day in order to now begin to train your brain, that so you don't get information presented to you on YouTube or any of these other channels, and it's presented by AI, factored and manufactured by AI, and you can't identify it. So you're looking at something and saying this is false information, right? This is where AI is going. And at the same time, there's a balance to it. And I had to pull this because Bernie Sanders was having a conversation. I came by this one. Bernie Sanders is having a conversation with an AI. He's talking specifically to Claude, okay? And this was interesting. Oh, whoa. Is my audio going right there? My audio.
Claude, this is Senator Bernie Sanders. I have been taking a hard look at how AI impacts American society in terms of economics and job loss, in terms of the mental health of our kids, in terms of what it will do to the political process. What I want to talk to you about is another issue, and that is the impact of AI on privacy. I want to know, among other things, just how much of the information that AI collects is being used, and what would surprise the American people in terms of knowing how that information is collected?
Yeah, that's the thing that would probably shock most Americans. Companies are collecting data from everywhere. Your browsing history, your location, what you buy, what you search for, even how long you pause on a web page. Then they're feeding all of that into AI systems that create incredibly detailed profiles about you.
And he's not lying. We're not in a place anymore where there's privacy, unless you're dealing with information that's intentionally hid and you don't surface anywhere with it. We're not dealing with a privacy issue any longer. There is no privacy in our country. I don't understand why people believe where they have this privacy thing. There is a level of privacy in physical, meaning I'm physically in the room, but even that can be hacked through your phone, if your phone's in a room or anything like that. One thing I'm actually going to ask Claude is the same questions he's asking. I'm going to see if it gives me the response, because you can train it to give you any response. But I'm curious how he actually, I'm just curious about it.
What would surprise people is how little they actually consented to and how little they understand about it. Most people click agree on terms of service without reading them, and they have no idea that their data is being combined with thousands of other data points to build a picture of who they are. And then that AI uses those profiles to decide what ads you see, what prices you're shown, even what information gets prioritized in your social media feed. It's all happening in the background, invisible and largely unregulated.
I think most Americans would know the answer to this, but why is all of this information being collected? What's the goal here?
Money, Senator. It's fundamentally about profit.
What is the goal here? Of course we know is money. Of course we know. more data points mean I can better understand the psyche of the person that I need to deliver a message to and offer to. And with that, they're able to communicate effectively. That's just the way it is. And you could choose to make that decision or not, but to what you buy. But I honestly believe at the same time, it also locates your weaknesses, that you're more privy to lean in a direction. And I give you this. I'm on TikTok, and I get this, and I don't stop for TikTok ads. I just don't. Especially, I've made ads before for TikTok. I've made ads before for Facebook, not on TikTok. Facebook, Instagram. So I do ads. Put ads out there. Get it. But I stopped for this ad, and I wonder why I stopped for it. It's called GenSpark. It was a AI tool that they released out, and it's a dope tool. All these little mini agents in one spot. But it got me how this one tool, out of everything I've seen for AI, generators and make an avatar and make your voice this and all that, this one got me. So they had been steadying me to say what would trigger Lee to actually stop and listen. And I stopped and I listened for GenSpark. Because I thought in that, I was like, man, I really want to build something that was self-contained, that I'm not using this tool, that tool, that tool, that tool. I'm using one tool, and it's interesting. It came on my feed, almost like they were listening to what was going through my brain. I'm going to play this for another minute, then we'll move on. I got some more stories.
Companies collect all this data because AI allows them to turn it into valuable insights. They can predict what you'll buy, target you with ads that are more likely to work, charge different prices to different people based on what they know about you. Advertisers pay premium prices for access to these detailed profiles because they're incredibly effective at manipulating consumer behavior.
Well, this is not a new thing. If you go back and listen to that story, Mad Men, remember that show Mad Men that came on AMC? I'm still not even done with the seasons. But that was the rise of marketing in the 50s, 60s, how marketing affected, and they studied how marketing affected people. This is not brand new. This is not new at all, and it's not going anywhere. It's not changing, because psychology is embedded into not just our government, but is embedded into everything, even down to the money that's in your pocket. Somebody trained you to believe this piece of paper holds value, and we go and we send our soldiers over to war to actually fight for that value of that paper. And they increase the value when they come back home if they've won, or if we've at least obliterated them, right, by some administration's terms. But at the end of the day, I think we focus on the wrong thing with this, because you can't stop the wave that's coming. We can get up and protest. We can put all this out there. You can't stop the wave that's coming. If anything, we should hold our people and our people that we put in position accountable to now deliver to us, or the things that they let into our space, that there has some boundaries, some guardrails that are put into place. And I believe that's the reason why Claude and Trump didn't really connect, because Claude has so many different boundaries that's in place to keep that AI from running crazy like Grok, okay? And if you don't know what Grok is X's version of a AI tool, or an AI just like ChatGPT. But I didn't listen to the whole thing with Bernie Sanders. I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan, but I did like the fact that he took the time to kind of break this down and talk to AI, because a lot of people haven't really taken the time to talk to the learning model. But the craziest part about this, you can talk to the learning model, and I believe I'll probably, based on the way I ask the questions, get a different answer than you do. But yeah, so with all of these changes that are taking place, there's a flip side to this, okay? And this is the side I think that makes a lot of people nervous when it comes to AI, okay? Let me get into this. Let me go with this one right here. Yeah, let's talk about this one right here.
A mother and daughter in Kentucky have turned down a $26 million offer for part of their farmland. CBS News' Jared Otacher met with this family and asked them why they said no to this massive amount of money.
This is the land in rural Kentucky that Delcia and her mother Ida turned down $26 million for.
I just said my land is not for sale. I never had a for sale sign on my land. I never wanted to sell my land, never even dreamed of thinking about selling my land, and it's priceless.
It's easy to say no to $26 million whenever it really doesn't buy anything that you need. Once this land is gone, there wouldn't be anything else I'd really want.
And
I don't think she's crazy. You leave a comment if you think if you think she's crazy. I don't think she's crazy at all. I think what she's describing is something that is very unique. It's one of one, and it's scarce, and it's going to become more and more scarce. The more we build out AI data centers in rural places, or even build them out in city and urban spots. And I've seen a couple in Atlanta, urban. Damn. Because what comes from these AI places, as much as I love AI, as much as I love the technology and what it does, she can't get that back. We're talking about 600 acres, and I think up to 1,000 acres in the whole family, 600 acres in her hand, like that she has. And this family has had it, and I can't even play the whole thing. I'm going to play a little bit more. Go ahead.
Told me it wasn't a difficult decision, and it's one they'd make again, because this property isn't just property. It's a home, and it's a lifestyle of farming that's been passed down in generations and generations of their family.
Oh, it's all the time when we had parties. We fixed that back there for the grandkids to have, cookouts. Just ever Christmases and everything we needed, it was usually right here.
They were offered tens of thousands of dollars per acre, as were a few of their neighbors, so that an unnamed company could build a 2,000-plus acre data center. It would be the biggest project in the state.
Most of the people I've been around, please don't let us down, please. Our land won't, our businesses will be destroyed here. Our homes will be no value to them left. Please don't let this happen to our county.
A community group called We Are Mason County is suing to try and slow down the process and learn who the organization is, the company is, behind the project.
I cannot get enough of these ladies.
They're so great.
And Jared Chacha joins us now. There are a few stories that kind of are refreshing in a way that people will act in ways that you don't expect. $26 million. Were they offered that for all of their land or just part of it? Because they could have kept some of the land probably.
Right, so between Delcia and Ida, the mother and daughter, they own around 600 acres. And with more of their family, it's over 1,000. So they were offered this money for part of their land, and as you heard, they said no.
So tell us about this lawsuit that was filed by the community groups to slow this development.
So there's a citizen community group called We Are Mason County. And just this week, they filed this lawsuit. And 30 minutes ago, the leader of the group sent me a copy of the complaint. And basically what they're arguing is that nowhere in the county zoning ordinance does it say anything about data centers. So they're arguing that if this were to go through, if the construction were to go through, it would be an illegal construction project.
Wow.
And
so when I looked at this, I kind of felt like they're talking about something that a lot of people don't really understand. There's some things better and bigger than money. Money is not the reason and the cause for everything. Money should not be the driver for every decision that people make. And when people make decisions just clearly on money, whether you're buying up 100 acres, 600 acres, 300 acres of farmland, and you're displacing vital things that we need for food as a country. I mean, these farmers, they farm this land and they sell it to us. And we think that food is just, we can make some more food in a processing center. We don't really need fresh groceries, don't really need fresh food. It kind of blows my mind when people think like that. And I kind of feel like that's the thought that's going into it. And when you tell someone that there's bigger things than money, because that's really what they're saying, 24 million? Insane. I did one yesterday, the day before yesterday. They were offering a community $4 million, a subdivision, $4 million per house. Each house had a half an acre to it. And it was about 100 houses. You do the math. I'm like 100 houses at $4 million per person or family or per house. Insane. $4 million. Ooh, look at me. I'm doing that math right now. At 100 houses, shit. They were ready to go close to $500 million. That's 400 million. Could have did that math by itself. 400 million. But I think they had like 150 houses. Could have did that math in my house. Look, in my mind, right? Could have got that. That's 400 million. So they see a 400 million value. They're factoring in all the stuff that they're going to get, or they can get, or they can bring out of that AI data center. Because these data centers aren't just AI related. We're talking about cloud storage. We're talking about what runs your computer. And the caveat, well, not a caveat, but the issue that we don't really notice when we do this whole fight, I kind of got to sit back and say, is this in any way tied to the fact that some of these farmers are getting less money from the government?
Now, two statewide organizations say a previously approved grant from the USDA aimed to support access to farmland were pulled at the last minute in recent weeks. Local 5's J.D. Snover has more on what just got struck down.
Multiple local organizations who support small farmers say they've been left high and dry with recent cuts to USDA grant funding. As time wears on, transitioning Iowa farmland to the next generation is key.
Over 60% is owned by people over the age of 65.
Tommy Hexter with the Iowa Food Systems Coalition grew up on a farm in Virginia. He's considered returning to farm life here in Iowa, but says breaking in isn't easy.
The increased cost of land and the capital required to farm are huge barriers.
Programs like Iowa Valley's New Century Farm Fellowship aim to change that, helping young first-generation farmers connect with lenders and build business skills.
Many people think of farming as just like knowledge that gets passed down from generation to generation, and that is not the case anymore. So there needs to be actual educational programs or curriculum.
The sustainable...
And I kind of, when I started looking at that, I'm wondering, are they giving them less money because they need them to suffer to actually give up the land? Because some of these people have owned this land since the late 1800s. That's true. Like that family I just showed right now, they've owned it since the late 1800s. But the data centers that they're building, it's gonna change the way we do a lot of different things. Okay, so when I look at this, I'm looking at this is a fight between two things: where we're going and where we're at and where we came from. Now, where we're going, because China has hands down the worst pollution issue in the world, in my personal opinion. And I know there are some other places in the world that have extremely bad pollution. But when you see the citizens walking around with masks on their face, you got to kind of sit back and wonder, do I freaking want to live there or not? You know, what are they doing that I don't want to be done in the rest of the world? And part of it has to do with these big factories creating a lot of those environmental issues. And China, they're beating us at AI, bro. I mean, they're using AI, our AI tools, spinning them up, reconfiguring code, and making a better tool that a lot of our data scientists and some of our guys don't even see. Okay, programmers don't even see. We haven't caught up to it yet, and it is an AI arms race. But will we even get there? Do we have to destroy the country in order to actually compete in this AI arms race? I don't think people should have to die in order for us to keep up with technology. There's got to be a better way that we do this. And this is slipping through, because when it stays on a local level, hint, hint, local level, you hire these local politicians, you vote them into office, we put them there, and they're really siding with a lot of these data companies, and they're saying it, oh, we got to go with them simply because, hey, guess what? We're in a deficit. We are $1 billion down. We need more data centers. That's a good income generator. Oh, no. Somebody's selling somebody out. Somebody's really selling somebody out. And I believe it's the politicians we put there that are actually selling us out. I mean, think about it. And what's worse, Somebody paid for these people to actually be in that place, to be in that office. So they pay for them to be in that office, and they do exactly the opposite of what they should be doing for the people, but they do make a bag. I truly believe that they're making a bag. And if you don't believe they're making a bag or they're getting bags out of it, I think you're kind of deceived worse than some of the people that are out here. They're making money off of it. And I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter. If they bipartisan, I don't care. They're selling you out because there's so much that comes with these data centers. It's hitting fast and it's hitting hard, and a lot of people aren't talking about it. This should be one of the most trending topics. It shouldn't be Pinky losing her house in foreclosure and then getting it back. It shouldn't be Anton Daniels on Stephen A. Smith. It shouldn't be any of these topics. It should be this. This is a direct attack against our food source. And if we don't hold this accountable, as much as I love technology, and I'm not one of those dudes that hate tech, I love tech, man. When I say I love tech, I love what I can do with it. I love how it makes my life easier. I love the cloud where I can store my info in. I love all those different things. It was one point in time I was doing corporate sales for a tech company, booking appointments, dealing with on the back end, showing them and demoing what these models do. And the reality of it is, I like it, but I don't like it at the expense of human life. I really don't. I really don't. So there has to be something that's put in place to hold the guardrails in place so these people, so we don't find ourselves in a place where we look like China. Yeah. I truly believe, yeah. It doesn't take too much for us to get to that place where we end up looking like China. I mean, literally, everybody walks around with a mask on whenever they have high pollutant detected in the air. To beat them, do we have to become them? Hell no. But do we have to ignore this technology, which people to the extreme? I tell you, don't mess with AI. I don't think that's the solution. Now, I was thinking at one time, we probably should find a state or a piece of land and let all of our data centers be in that piece of land. But then I realized what they're doing over in Iran, bombing up locations. All it takes is somebody capable of getting over into our country, sending a missile over, and boom, everything with the cloud goes away. But there are some people who don't care about that. They rather destroy the whole system. Now, if you're getting apocalyptic like that, please do that for yourself. Don't do that for the rest of us. Oh, no. Because I do like civilization. And if you went back to prehistoric times and you just took out everything like an EMP blast and you can't turn on your lights and everything's fried and all that, and you think that's cool, you're messed up. You're really messed up.
AI is destroying my city and it's gonna come for yours next. Let me tell you about the most dystopian thing I've heard about this week. And I know it's not like my usual content, but I'm asking you to just get mad with me, just a little bit. Data centers are colonizing Florida and we're letting it happen. They're building data centers in the Everglades. The Everglades. And if you don't know what the Everglades are, I'm just gonna give you a quick little rundown. It's one of the most biodiverse, ecologically critical wetlands on the planet. And we're paving over it so that AI can generate more videos of dancing dogs or six-legged cats. But it gets worse. Of course it does. It's AI. These companies are not just...
And that's what I said, the extreme. A lot of people don't understand or see that it's not just AI. It's deeper than just, it's not just AI at these data centers. It's literally the way that we compete with the rest of the world right now.
Destroying natural ecosystems, which is bad enough already. They're strategically targeting predominantly Black communities, low-income neighborhoods, places that historically do not have the political capital to fight back. Places like Eatonville, right outside of Orlando, where they are nearly done building a massive data center that residents didn't even know was being built until it was too late.
Less than a week ago, I got a phone call out of the blue that a company wants to purchase my property. And when I asked, well, what for? Well, we can't disclose that. There's already, some people who have allegedly signed. And I said, well, I don't want to sell. And he said, well, I don't think you're going to want to live to what's coming. But when I then discussed it with other neighbors, they had been told that it was going to be a data center.
I think it's something that we have to look at and see what's all there. You can't just say no.
Yeah, the offer seems good, but I can't replace what I have for it is. They don't make any more land, and these companies are just gobbling it up. And where are we supposed to go to live the lifestyle that we're living?
As a citizen of Des Moines.
Yeah. A lot of people don't, if you're urban, in an urban setting, this doesn't affect you as much as if you're in a suburban or a rural setting. It does. And I was the advocate of, hey, we need to take these data centers way out to the rural. But more of these issues are happening in a rural center and what's in the rural settings. And what's worse than that, they make the food that you eat. We're talking about cows, chickens. Damn, I like chicken. I don't want to eat a radioactive chicken. Oh, no. I don't want that. And I know I'm being a clown and being funny about it, but there has to be some balance to it. And even the extreme ones on the left, they need, and the extreme ones on the right who just want to sell out everything, y'all got to find a middle ground, because we can't do this and destroy the world to beat China and then end up beating China and everybody in your community and everybody in your world is sick. Everybody in your country sick. Hell no.
Screaming from the fucking rooftops that y'all need to stop using AI, because my city is about to not have water. Not clean water for drinking. We already barely have that. Not like no water. You hear me? No water. Not out of our fucking faucets. No, not in our fucking toilets. No water, because y'all want to chat GPT everything. Oh, it's just a town in Iowa. I live here. My people live here. People live here.
Everybody thinks the worst thing a data center does is raise your electricity bill. No, the worst thing it does is actually quietly ruin your health. Let me explain real quick. One single data center uses as much water as a town of 50,000 people, and as much power, enough to power 100,000 homes. But the real bill ain't even in your statement, it's in your body. If you live near a data center, you live next to a thing that never shuts up, 24 hours a day. Low frequency humming. It's like living next door to a jet engine that never takes off. And that constant noise, contrary to what they tell you, that constant noise messes with your sleep. It spikes your stress and your hormone levels. It raises your blood pressure. And over time, it raises your risk for heart disease. And people are walking around exhausted and anxious, and they're trying to figure out why. But then you got to think about the air that comes with living next to a data center. See, these data centers, they run on massive backup diesel generators. And they test them, or say the system has a hiccup or something, right? They pump diesel pollution straight into your neighborhood. And that stuff gets in your lungs, it triggers asthma, and it makes breathing harder. And it's especially bad for the elderly and for children.
People are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many nuclear power plants can we make in 1 year where we're planning this 10 gigawatt data center? Gives you a sense of how big this crisis is.
So people sometimes ask, why is Northern Virginia the data center hotspot for the entire world? And the reason is that in the last century, data processing companies came here because their customers, government agencies in DC, were here. So they built data processing facilities. And then as the internet developed, there was a good fiber network here. There's a really strong, reliable, and relatively cheap power grid. So data centers can hook up to electricity, which is the juice they need. There's fewer natural disasters here, knock on wood, and lots of open land. There's also been some tax break laws passed to encourage data center development around here.
When people talk about the cloud, this is kind of where we are now.
This is what they're talking about. It's not in the sky, it's right here.
So hyperscalers are the big tech firms like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Some of those types of companies want to build data center campuses that use 5 gigawatts of electricity. That's a huge amount. It's as much as entire cities like Miami or Atlanta. Right now, Virginia, where Data Center Alley is, uses about 5 gigawatts of electricity for all of its data centers. That's a lot, and enough to power about half the homes in the state.
That's big. You can power half the homes in the state from one location. Matter of fact, I think they said Atlanta uses 1 gig, close to 2 gigs. One center uses 5 gigs. You gotta see, like, if you're like me and you're caught in the middle, you love the technology, but you don't want to destroy the world for the technology. You don't want to destroy your life for the technology. You don't want to. But at the same time, there is a major shift that's going to happen whether you're a part of it or not. You can either be the victim or the victor. You can understand this and navigate through it, or you can cover your head, your ears, your eyes, put your head in the sand and said, oh, it's going to go away. I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's going to get actually worse. I think we're on the brink of what the new world would actually look like with these data centers that are located near major hubs, just like Amazon and has major hubs where they can ship out from. I believe that's where we're headed to. And I believe some people are going to suffer from this being in the water, being in the air, the closer they live to these things. But I do also believe, too, that the technology that we need in order to stay ahead of the rest of the world requires having data centers. So how do we do it? Nobody has it. Some people just want to get rid of it. It's easy, I think, to say get rid of it until you turn around and you deal with China and you deal with a superior force occupying your land because they beat you out because of technology. And that's really what happened. A lot of countries came and rose to power early 1800s, 1700s, 1500s, 1600s, because they had the ability to wage war with higher level technology. Technology defines now who's going to be the victor and who's going to be the victim. That's really it. It really comes down to that. Remember the first machine gun? Remember the first cannon? I remember, man, it's a cool move, a cool show. I think it's really cool on Apple TV about Hawaii and how Hawaii got introduced to cannon. I forgot the name of that show, bro. Anyway.
Conshohocken area residents push back against a proposed data center. I think this is literal insanity. But let's zoom out for a second. A lot of people see a data center proposal and think it's just some big warehouse for computers. This is way bigger than that. Data centers are the backbone of the modern economy. They power AI, logistics, transportation, healthcare, research, you name it. And the cities that invest in localized compute infrastructure become the places where innovation happens. Let me give you a real example. Up in Canada, Montreal became a major AI hub, partly because of a strategic investment in infrastructure. And I'm talking about a place like Mila, the world-renowned AI institute. They didn't just build office buildings, they built the compute backbone to support research, startups, entire industries around it. That investment turned Montreal into a global magnet for AI companies, research, and talent. Now look at us. Philadelphia sits in a prime location between New York and DC, sitting on major fiber corridors. If we don't build infrastructure like this here, companies will just keep routing their data through other regions. This means slower innovation, higher costs, and fewer high-skilled jobs right here at home.
What they have decided to do is tell us, here are all the benefits. And we have this $140 million deficit, so we better get us a data center because it's going to be get money quick. It's like, I mean, isn't that why you built the casino? For tax?
Who's it giving money to? That's the question I'm asking, because it's not, they only need, a lot of these data centers don't even employ a lot of people. Outside of the people it takes to actually build it, the plumbers, electricians, you're not talking about like a factory that's being ran and you got 300 factory workers. They're going to use AI to run AI, from robots to code that does in workflows that does what it's supposed to do. This is different. That's why I say it's a scheme and it's a lie. It's deception. We need the technology, but don't lie and say that the people that's going to work there we're going to create jobs. I don't believe the amount of jobs, probably short term, but definitely not long term.
Where that money going? Right? You build all these things because you're hoping that it's going to give you something, and then you're still in debt. Tell me where the debt is coming from and what is a real, long-term, viable, not kill the people plan of action that will actually get us there. I mean, there's an African proverb, ears that do not listen to advice will accompany the head when it is chopped off. How many times do you need to hear other people in other communities tell you about what it's actually like to live with a data center before you hear them and take heed?
Can you hear the sound?
That's too much noise. I couldn't wake up in the morning or even go to bed at night listening to that.
I live alone. There is no reason why my 1 month bill should be $675 when the house is pitch black. When we talk about these data centers, there is no question that the reason why our bills are as high as they are is because you've got these multi-billion-dollar corporations, Meta, Amazon, who come into our communities, who take all of their money and use it, don't pay a dime in taxes, and this is why our bills are the way that they are.
See, and this is the thing. They get tax dollars, tax exemptions to build jobs, not to take jobs away. So I'm for Trump when he says they need their own nuclear power plant so it doesn't run up the bill for average Americans. I'm with him on that. But they should also take it a step further. Don't give tax incentives. Don't incentivize the lack of jobs you're creating just because you're creating a business that helps the backbone of technology in a country. That's great, but there should be an incentive tied to creating jobs. They should not have these tax breaks if these jobs aren't being created.
All right, it's April Fool's. I wish this was a joke, but it's not. As you have seen over the past few weeks, the Michigan Public Service Commission, they have given both DTE and Consumers Energy massive rate increases that we're all going to have to pay for. Now we've got these big AI data centers coming into Michigan. One in Saline Township is going to use the equivalent energy of 1 million homes. I believe the one being proposed in Van Buren Township could use the equivalent energy of 2 million homes. And people keep telling me, trust the process and trust the Michigan Public Service Commission to protect us. Well, guess what? I don't. They don't work for us. They work for two utilities, and that's why we have some of the highest electricity rates in the country, the highest in the Midwest. So when the legislature comes back, I certainly hope that they will take up the Representative Jen Wert's bill to put in place a 1-year moratorium on AI data centers. Sign our petition below. It's protectmycommunities.com. I've posted the link. Please sign it, asking the legislature to take up this important legislation.
That's in Michigan.
They are building an AI data center 10 minutes from my house. Let me say that again. They are building an AI data center 10 minutes from my house.
I'm taking this video so that people can understand, like, this is the video prior to the video. This is the farmland that you're driving through until you come to the AI data center. Like, it is nothing but just super rural homes.
Now, I'm going to tell you, if they're building something like that close to me and they offer me a huge sum of money, I am selling it. I am going and I'm running. I'm going somewhere over. I can't go to Hawaii because they got too many volcanoes over that mug, bro. I'm going somewhere near the water. I'm done. Like, it's a wrap. I don't even know if I'm going to Florida because they got one probably in a panhandle. But I'm going where there ain't a bunch of people around, okay? Because the reality of it is you can say no, but if your neighbor says yes, and that neighbor says yes, and they got 15 other people that says yes, and then you're rural, the odds are there's going to be a slim amount of people that say no. People who value, what is the best word? They value lifestyle over money, because money is just designed for a lifestyle. You get money so you have a certain lifestyle. Your quality of life in our country is tied to your money. That's true, but it shouldn't be tied to your money. But if you're comfortable and you have a good quality of life, you ain't trying to be a billionaire. How much money does it take for you to be comfortable? But if you're comfortable and they come in and they offer that money, I can understand why some people say yes. I would have to say yes to and run. No lie. Because the further I get, if I say yes, they're going to do it and build it anyway somewhere nearby, and my shit is still going to get screwed up. And this is what people don't understand.
Like, the first time I drove this, it genuinely made me so emotional because I haven't been this way. I haven't left town in like a year, like gone this way in like a year. And I knew they were starting this, but I didn't know it was this impactful. Look at all the semi trucks, all the cement trucks you'll drive by. Wow. I didn't realize how impactful it was until I made the drive again. And then I was just so floored and flabbergasted. Again, this is rural, like super rural. Ain't nothing for miles, Indiana.
Hey, this is the future, and this is where it's coming to. We just got to decide if we're going to be people that actually talk about this, or if we're going to continuously have these fluff sessions and don't talk about it. Hey, I'm at that hour mark, but I'm going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to cover at least this one thing, because I'm kind of seeing this more and more. And if I don't bring it to the attention of you guys, like listening to this, you're going to think that this is cool, you know? And I know a lot of people move during the summertime and they get ready to reposition their kids for the fall. Okay. Tip: 30-year right now is at 6.41. 15-year is at 6. That's very close, but that 0.41 can actually save you a ton of money. Go for the 15-year if you can. That's kind of where the market is shaping up right now. Bitcoin, oh God, gold is at 46,863. And silver's back up to 72. Silver falling to 60, jump on it. Outside of that, stack hard assets, digital assets, don't just sit around and wait for a real estate deal to come your way. Because Bitcoin's soaring at right now 67,300 around that price point. So, y'all scheming in Atlanta, bro. I didn't know Atlanta was this much of a fraud capital. Because when you put your head in the ground and you're just doing the work, you kind of lift your head up and you find, like, what are y'all talking about? That's literally what happens to me sometimes. I don't get pings. Well, at least not as much now, because I'm slowly beginning to program an AI agent to notify me of certain things. But I don't get that on average. Never historically. But Atlanta got scams, bro.
A family paid $3,000 to rent a home, only to later learn the person they paid the money to didn't actually hold the keys to the property. Well, new at 6, Channel 2 investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln tells us the real homeowner says it was all just a scheme.
This family, they told me they thought this would be their dream home. They were excited. They've moved everything into this property. Been living here for about a month now. That's why they were shocked when they got this letter from Invitation Homes claiming they were squatting. And the company claims they didn't rent this property from them.
Very frustrated, very frustrated.
A mix of emotions. This DeKalb County family says they're now trying to unpack.
It's really messed up that you really took from me and my family.
After putting down nearly $3,000 to move into this rental home on Gresham Road.
We thought everything was good.
This is my first home with me and my kids.
The couple says they responded to this Zillow ad and were contacted by a Gabriel Valdez, who claimed he was with Invitation Homes.
He said he was a homeowner.
Trusting that, they paid Valdez an application fee, deposit, and first month's rent. And
So, because rentals are, I don't say they scarce, but good rentals. You know, you got to really compete with people who have good credit and good search. They make 3 times the amount of rent. They get you with this. You got to meet these people face forward. You got to meet them at the location. You got to get their credentials. And damn, you got to call, especially Invitation Homes. This is a big conglomerate company. You got to call up there. You got to do now the level of due diligence you would have to do if you're going to build a project, if you're going to hire people, if you're going to go work for a place. Work from home scams are big too now. Okay. But you got to do that level of due diligence right now. And I truly believe a lot of people are most people are lazy. Not everybody, but a good fair amount. Think about it. And this is not lazy in a negative. Y'all like, man, you're calling people lazy. You expect them to like, subscribe, follow. You better like, subscribe, follow. No, in the sense of you get home and you're tired and you're exhausted. Who has time? You're looking for a place and you're getting inundated and you see this place, you see that place. Who has time to do due diligence on them? Guess what? The same thing that we've been talking about, ChatGPT can actually do a lot of that for you. Gemini can do a lot of that for you. These are why these tools are going to reshape everyday life, even when it comes to real estate, because you got to know who you're talking to on the other line. And it's got to have some level of it's got to be validated. It's got to. And you can't be so afraid that you're going to lose the house and not be able to get the house that you say, oh, I'm just going to go with it. I believed in the past because I've gotten into bad deals and I've gotten into good deals. I've gotten into some real bad deals. I just needed to be patient. I just needed to know that God will work it out for my good. Like, I will land in the right place I'm supposed to land. That confidence, I think a lot of people don't have because, and I get it, I'm not beating anybody up because you're so encountered and hit with everything going on that you got to now muster up the confidence to say, this one may not work. It may not be for me. I'm going to stay in the pocket, do my due diligence, and the right one will land and connect with me.
The approval letter sealed the deal, but Griffin says red flags started popping up after Valdez asked them to pay extra money to hire a locksmith to open the doors.
See, you got to meet them out there, let them freaking open the door, and you walk in and you look at it. Say, yeah, I want to give you the money. Let's go ahead and meet face to face. No, we do everything online. Okay, cool. I can do it online when we meet there and walk through it. I can do it in front of you and send you the money. We got to do that.
We felt suspicious with it.
Weeks later, they received this notice and a visit from men in an Invitation Homes truck demanding they vacate the property.
When those trucks showed up, it was just like glass shattering. You know, I just didn't know how to pick up the pieces.
We're not squatters. We did the proper steps to get into here. We did everything that we supposed to have did.
Invitation Homes told me it does not employ anyone by the name of Gabriel Valdez, and none of the documents he provided matched their records. I called several numbers listed for Valdez. No response from either.
I'm sorry. You can't leave a message.
Invitation Homes said in a statement, we're always frustrated to discover that one of our homes has been used for these types of scams.
He burnt the line. He called them on a burner. That's a burner.
The company says it uses third parties to analyze listing sites for fraudulent activity.
We love the home. We really wish that we could make things the right way or better.
And this family says they are exploring other options in the event they have to move. In the meantime, Invitation Homes says it lists a number of ways renters can protect themselves from these situations. We'll have that in the story on our website at WSBTV.com. Reporting in DeKalb County, I'm Ashley Lincoln, Channel 2 Action News.
And that's the suck. That's the part that sucks. 3 stacks, man. 3 stacks is not something you just want to mess around with and just give around to anybody and everybody that just says, oh, I got $3,000. You got $3,000. No problem. I'll let you stay here. Hey, 3 stacks is not where you want to be. Losing 3 stacks, man. Hey, I just put this out here because I'm hoping that people get it and that it stops them. Matter of fact, I'm probably gonna do a reaction video, some stuff to it. Because as the weather heats up, and we got 404 weekend in Atlanta this week. 404 weekend. Damn. I'm gonna chill with my wife. We're gonna be out. My woman, we're gonna hang out, probably take the dog. Just do some fun stuff. For real. Hey, like, subscribe, follow for more content. Check out the off-market property list if you want to get some of our deals sent to you once a week. In addition to that, if you're trying to monetize your system or monetize doing reaction videos or being on YouTube, this is niche for reaction videos. Check out my 60 Days to Monetize program. That way you can cut through all of the crap and you'll see what I did to just monetize myself. 60 days. 60 days. 60 days. I'm giving away the game plan. And I also put another one in there for agents too. If you're an agent or an investor, you want to scale up your business 6 figures, I'll just show you my 6-figure investor plan, my 6-figure agent plan, like how to actually work with investors and make 6 figures. It's a free giveaway right there in the link. And I am out for today because I blessed the world and God blessed me this morning. And I want you to know that you blessed and God loves you just the way you are. Forget what these jokers have to say. They lying and their breath stink. Liar, liars, pants is on fire. Peace.